So once that's installed, you can go on and create a React application. So a React application is basically JavaScript that can dynamically render the content that gets displayed on your browser window, right? And it does it by manipulating a data structure called the DOM, the Document Object Model, and it's what browsers use to describe a screen, right? So, for instance, if you look at any web page, right, you can kind of look behind the scenes on how the browser went about rendering this screen, right? So if you say if you go to the modules here, right, you can right click right anywhere in the background of the browser and click on inspect, and so inspect is, this tool is going to become your best friend. Okay, so you're going to be using this tool all the time, right? As developers. Right? As a user, no, this is this kind of looking at the matrix, right? and seeing that on the right hand side what Neo sees, right? And zeros and ones, right? And this is what actually gets rendered. So this is what that normal people, right? The regular human beings, this is what they see. But us as developers, this is what we're really interested in, right? On this right hand side. Right, so we're going to be learning, right, how to generate this right-hand side, all this HTML stuff, right? And so we'll see that at the top, you hear this is an HTML document, and notice that as I move my mouse here, it highlights on the left side what is being rendered by this data structure. So this data structure here on the right-hand side is referred to as the DOM, right, as the Document Object Model. It is a data structure that represents all the different items, right, and artifacts that are being rendered on the screen. Okay, and it's formatted, right, as it looks almost like text, right? It is because its initial intent was for this to be static text, right? That was written in a note in a text editor, right, by Tim Berners-Lee, right? And it's hierarchical, right? It has all this. It's written in HTML, which is a derivative of XML, right? That has a hierarchical structure, right? Of tags containing other tags containing other tags, right? That and so there it is, right? So it looks like that, right? Not really. It's not really in memory. These are just nodes. These are nodes that point to other nodes that have children of nodes, arrays of objects that have other arrays of other objects, right? Now it's rendered as HTML, just so that we can parse it easier, right? So anyway, the root of all HTML documents is the HTML tag, right? And then all HTML documents have two parts, right? It has the header part, right? And then the body part. Notice that the header is not rendered here anywhere on the screen. See that? If I hover it, it doesn't highlight anything because it's not rendering anything. All the content that you see on the screen is rendered by the body, right? And then the body has all sorts of content in here, right? And again, it's hierarchical. Now the head, it contains just some metadata, who the author is, when was this published, and also has all sorts of dependencies, right? What other documents this document might refer to or is dependent on, right? I need to fetch these images. I need to fetch that library of styles, right? Or these all these scripts that I have to download. So all those dependencies are in the header, in the head tag, right? And then the body is the actual content. Now this content has all sorts of divs. Divs are divisors, right, that allow you to divide or break up a large document into smaller pieces. And if it looks like the content here is this big div, right? If I want to see a particular a particular part of the document, I can say, hey, I want to look at these modules here. Let me inspect it. And then it navigates on the right-hand side to highlight where is that content actually rendered, right? And as we see, here's the text module. See that? That text module is being rendered right here, modules. That is part of a hyperlink, right? There's a hyperlink that presumably, if I click on the modules, will navigate to these courses, blah, 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 /modules, right? And it's all inside an LI or line item, right? A line item, there's a whole bunch of them. Notice if I hover over the line items, it highlights all these line items. See that? And they're all part of this unordered list. So this is a list of line items, right? That if I hover, I click on it, it highlights the entire list here, right? Or it can highlight each individual item. See that? Now, the trick here is that we're going to be learning how to manipulate this data structure dynamically, programmatically, right? In the 2000s, early 2000s, all this HTML content was calculated, was computed, was generated on the server. The server would generate all this content, and then it would come to the browser all done, right? All rendered. Today, with Angular and React.js, most of this content, right, is being generated dynamically on the browser. The browser is rendering it, right? It goes, it fetches the data from the server, but then uses algorithms and logic and JavaScript that runs in the browser, right? Iterates over this data that comes from the server and then dynamically renders the content, right? Or it could be a mixture of both strategies, right? And so we're going to be learning in the next 2 or 3 weeks is first how to do this statically, right? Just using a text editor. And then we're going to learn how to do it dynamically using React.js or JavaScript to dynamically render this document. So for instance, I'm going to remove this manually here. I'm going to say delete, right? And boom, we have no Zoom meetings anymore. So notice that I manipulated the data structure on the right-hand side and the user interface changed on the left side. See that? So I want to remove, I don't want to have any Piazza meetings. So I'm going to click on this and I'm just going to remove it. It's gone. See that? So I say, oh my goodness, I broke Canvas. Well, not really. I am only manipulating the data structure. And I'm just showing you that it has immediate repercussions, right, on what the user interface is rendering, right? I can always just refresh the screen and the browser is going to go out to the server again, and the server is always going to have the results, right? The source of truth that is then going to be rendered here. Now, obviously, if we want to make these changes permanent, we would have to go out to the server and say, hey, server, please permanently remove that item, right? And then it'll make a change in the database, right? So that when it fetches these items, right, it will no longer be there, right? So that's what we're going to be learning how to do in the second half of the semester. Okay, everybody good? All right. Yeah. So first, let's learn the simple stuff, right? All this HTML, what is that, right? So we'll focus on the static part first. We'll also learn how to control the look and feel. Notice that this is black, right? And this is white, and some things are red, or this is red over here. So I can look at I can inspect it, and it's this button over here, right? And down below, okay, notice there's more matrix here. See that? This at the top is we're using a language called HTML to render kind of like the layout of the screen, right? The overall organization of the screen and the main content, right? Now down below here, we're using a different language, right? It's called CSS, right? So this language below, right, it's used to style, right, the HTML, right, of saying what the color should be, right? So this just says that there's a button, right, and that the text should be module, but it doesn't say what color it should be. Right? Instead, we have a separate language called CSS, right, that references, right, the document, right, by its class, and says, okay, that button whose class is button primary right there has a background color that is red. See that? Right, and a foreground color that is white. okay, and it has a certain border and whatnot, right? And just like we can manipulate this, right, and we can change this module, we can change it to be, the module, right? We can change the content dynamically in HTML. We can also change the look and feel dynamically. So, for instance, the background color here, it says that it's red, right? But I can, can change it to blue or something, right? Oh no, I'm sorry, that's the border. That's the border. I can change the border, right? I can change the border size, make the border bigger. See that? Right, to be blue. Or I can convert it to be instead of solid, it could be something else. It could be dashed, right? Or dotted border, right? So I can change the look and feel of whatever it is dynamically, right? So that's also, we're going to be learning how to do that, right? When we get to React.js and JavaScript. So the first 2 weeks is just static content, right? Just HTML and CSS, how to do all this statically. And then on the third week, using React.js and JavaScript, we're going to learn how to dynamically manipulate this data structure on the right-hand side, right? So that it affects, right, the user interface on the left side. Make sense? Yeah, so that's the plan for the next 3-4 weeks. Okay. Let's see a question in the chat. Will we learn about any security measures? So we will learn about cross-origin resource sharing. So for instance, one of the concerns is that you have JavaScript that might be meant to be interacting with one browser, with one domain, right? But it's actually being accessing other domains, right? So we'll talk about those security issues. We'll talk about cookies that how to maintain them secure and making sure that they're encrypted, and also we'll learn about using SSL, right, to make sure that the communication across the wire that you're sending is not going to be tampered with anyone in between. We'll learn about logging in and password protection and obfuscating passwords, and making sure that the communication between the client and the server is secure. To make sure that if you're sharing anything that is private, like social security numbers or date of births or passwords or things like that, or credentials, right? That's not going to be compromised. So we'll talk about certain things. There's quite a lot more to discuss, but certainly, that's for other courses to go into much deeper topics there. All right, great questions. All right.